much more for divisive historical issues. Why can't Karnataka's politicians take up and solve the issues that matter to people in the state? That's my top focus on the Newstrack.
They spar over Tipu. They chest thump love jihad. But no Nataka over your life. Netas, you have killed baby Vihan. Netas, your priorities cost lives. They have let beautiful Bengaluru die.
Here's a quick look at the headlines I'm tracking tonight. Protests rage in Joshimath and locals protest against the demolition of 2 hotels. Nearly 700 houses have been marked unsafe so far. Rahul Gandhi's Golden Temple visit triggers a political storm. Akali Dal and BJP hit out, demand RG's apology for the 1984 anti-Sikh riots. Tamil Nadu government versus governor showdown escalates. Get out Ravi posters plastered across the state. Governor provokes by using Tamiz gum in the Pongal invite. All eyes on the Golden Globes Awards tomorrow. Pan-India smash hit RRR in the running for Best Film and Best Song Awards. Will Hollywood groove to Natu Natu? Virat Kohli scores his 45th one-day international century, takes 61 innings less to equal Tendulkar's staggering record.
As soon as he hit it, he knew what was happening, the celebration, just the happiness. You called it the monkey of the bat. Sometimes players like...
For months now, netas in Karnataka have been sparring over Tipu, Savarkar, love jihad, hijab, halal. There's no political protest whatsoever over what happened in Bengaluru today. 2.5-year-old Vihan and his mother, Tejaswini, were crushed to death after a metro pillar fell on them. The Chief Minister says he's ordered a probe. The Congress is taunting the ruling BJP with the 40% cut money barb. But does anyone care about citizens, or do Karnataka's neta care only about divisive historical issues?
Its neighborhoods turn lakes in rains. And its lakes dying from pollution, neglect and degradation. A city once proudly called India's IT hub seems sinking in potholes of the size of ditches. A mother and a baby boy became the latest victim of Bengaluru's civic apathy. Tejaswini and her son Vihan died after a metro pillar under construction came crashing down on their two-wheeler in Nagavara. Her husband and baby girl have been hospitalized with injuries.
All precautions we are taken. In spite of that, this has happened. So we have to go into the detailed investigation why this kinds of incident has happened, because whenever we do this kind of reinforcement, we tie the iron rope on 4 sides. We tie the iron rope so that there is absolutely no movement of the reinforcement. But in this case, one of the wire has broken. Now, why that wire broke, what went wrong, for that reason, I am calling the team from the Indian Institute of Science. Both together, mother and girl together, from BMRCL will give 20 lakh rupees as compensation.
Bengaluru's metro announced financial assistance to the bereaved family and a thorough inquiry.
Police is investigating the case and we are taking expert opinion regarding this issue. We will check up who is the contractor and we will take necessary action.
ನನಗೆ ಈಗ ತಾನೇ ನೀವು ಹೇಳಿದ ಮೇಲೆ ಸುದ್ದಿ ಗೊತ್ತು. ಅದು ವಿಚಾರಣೆ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಯಾಕೆ ಬಿತ್ತು ಏನು ಬಿತ್ತು ಅಂತ. ಆ ಕಾರಣನೂ ಕೇಳ್ಕೊತೀವಿ ಮತ್ತು ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಏನು ಪರಿಹಾರ ಕೊಡಬೇಕು ಅದು ಕೂಡ ಕೊಡ್ತೇವೆ. ಸಂಪೂರ್ಣವಾದಂಥ ಮಾಹಿತಿ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂಡು ಮತ್ತೆ ರಿಯಾಕ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. ನನಗಿನ್ನೂ ಏನು ಗೊತ್ತೇ ಇಲ್ಲ, ನಾನು ಹೆಂಗೆ ಹೇಳಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗಿ.
The city police and the state administration also issued their statements about imminent investigation. But the malaise affecting Bengaluru runs deeper in a state obsessed with ideological priorities. From dress codes in educational institutions, posters and their types in legislature, to love jihad, the ruling establishment has its focus set. Sample this directive from the horse's mouth at the start of 2023.
ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಹೇಳಿದೆ, ನೀವು ರಸ್ತೆ ಮೋರಿ ಚರಂಡಿ ಸಣ್ಣ ವಿಷಯದ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಮಾತಾಡಬೇಡಿ. ವೇದವ್ಯಾಸ ಹೋದಾಗ ಕೈ ಎತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, ನಳಿನ್ ಕುಮಾರ್ ನಕ್ಕಿಲ್ಲ. ನಳಿನ್ ಕುಮಾರ್ ನಕ್ಕು ನಿಮಗೇನು ಬಂಗಾರ ಸಿಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮಕ್ಕಳ ಬದುಕಿನ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಲವ್ ಜಿಹಾದ್ ಅಂತ ನಿಲ್ಲಿಸಬೇಕಿದ್ರೆ ಭಾರತೀಯ ಜನತಾ ಪಾರ್ಟಿ ಬೇಕು. ಲವ್ ಜಿಹಾದ್ ಅಂತ ನಿಲ್ಲಿಸಬೇಕು ಭಾರತೀಯ ಜನತಾ ಪಾರ್ಟಿ.
For Karnataka's political establishment, the late 18th century Tipu Sultan of Mysore carries more worth in their verbal back and forth than the contamination of lakes in the present-day Mysuru, whose water has been found unfit for human consumption. High time Karnataka's citizenry asserted its power over real issues this election year in the southern state. With Sagai Raj and Anaga in Bengaluru, Bureau Report, India Today.
Joining me on this broadcast is Nagaraju Yadav, spokesperson of the Karnataka Congress. Squaring off against him, Captain Ganesh Karnik from the BJP. Tara Krishnaswamy joins us, co-founder Citizens for Bengaluru and political Shakti. Srinivas Alavili, head of the civic participation Janagra, co-founder Citizens for Bengaluru, and well-known brand guru Harish Bijur. Take a look at some of the protests that have actually rocked Karnataka over the past several months. The hijab ban on campus, ban on loudspeakers for azan, temple fair ban on Muslim traders, halal versus jhatka, the meat controversy, the anti-conversion bill, the move to include the Bhagavad Gita in school curriculum, protests to avoid Tipu's glorification, the Savarkar Yatra, the Idgah land dispute, and not a single protest, not a murmur of opposition on the shocking issue of the metro pillar collapse. 2 people killed, a mother and her toddler. Harish Bijur, what happened in Bengaluru, does this to you signify all that is wrong in this election-bound state? Historical, cultural, social, divisive issues are what matter to netas. Those are the emotions they want to stir. These are tougher questions of civic apathy, which nobody wants to take up and fight about.
Rahul, today has been a sad day. And if you really ask me, our priorities are warped, our priorities are mixed. The most important item that needs to be on the agenda of Bengaluru is the safety of its people. And the moment that gets compromised, I think that's a big, big compromise. We need to wake up, smell the coffee, and see that, every one of these issues which is affecting us is in the bygone, is beyond us. So if you really look at it, I think, there is no price a life can command. No amount of compensation. It can actually, bring those 2 lives back. And we need to ask, why did this happen? It's a post-mortem of it is not important. We need to understand why this happens. We need to ensure that this doesn't happen again. The city is too precious for such nasty things to rob people of their lives.
No, but the pothole menace, the waterlogging issue, the disappearing lakes of Bengaluru, encroached footpaths, the garbage management, which is pathetic, absence of street lights, the traffic, these seem to be issues, Harish Bijur, which nobody wants to take up. They're simply uninterested in fighting for these kind of issues. Is it because they believe or they think they can get away with it because voters don't really care about civic apathy and about infrastructure development?
I don't think our politicians can get away with it because, potholes become election issues. These kind of collapses become election issues. Half the time, these are more important than anything else. So half the time people look at what's happening to their daily lives. What are they touched by? But then there's yet another issue, right? Which is the typical apathy of the great persona and the great voters amidst us. In a city, the voting percentages don't touch the numbers it must. It must touch 85% plus. They don't touch. And then when these kind of things happen, we get irritated, we get upset. Extremely important to sort these issues out. We have got a good chief minister, a committed chief minister, but these kind of issues, bring a bad name to the city and perpetually affect not only the image of Bengaluru, but affect the reality of Bengaluru on the ground. Because if you really look at some of the streets, the Indira Nagar 100 feet road, if you go, there's not enough of a road, it's half a road, and a quarter of it has got parked cars, and then there's no footpath at all. If you actually walk there, like I normally do, it's an adventure. It's trekking at its best.
Tara Krishnaswamy, the fact that the Karnataka government has ordered a probe, they're promising to find out why this happened. The company that's doing the construction has actually put out a statement to say this has never happened on our watch. The managing director Anjum Parvez of BMRCL says it's not inferior work. We use the best steel in our projects. We're doing a thorough internal investigation. We will reassess the method. This has never happened earlier. Could this be a one-off, or do you think this one incident actually signifies what is wrong with the manner in which Karnataka is being run right now?
Rahul, I'll say a couple of things. First of all, this is not the first time there has been a metro accident and loss of life. In 2020, if you recall, even the construction workers themselves lost their lives, metro construction workers. And Bengaluru is not the only place that this has happened. This has happened with the Delhi metro. It has happened with many other metro construction sites. The question is, do we ask what has changed after each time? Are we following better safety norms? Are we putting in place measures to make sure that such accidents are minimized? Are we holding people accountable? State in general, not just Karnataka state in general, that includes the union, that includes any given state, is responsible for the loss of immense number of Indian lives, whether it's custody deaths, whether it's pothole deaths, whether it's death due to metro accidents. Have you ever seen a criminal case filed against anyone? In Gujarat, before the elections, we had the Morbi Bridge collapse. Which state official high-ranking that actually has the ownership of the full project? I'm not talking about subcontractors, right? Who lost their job? Are there criminal cases filed against them? Is it possible in my house, in my compound, if I erect something that falls on my neighbor's wall, leave alone damages somebody, will there not be a criminal case on me? How is it that state gets away scot-free by killing its own citizens? That is the second thing. What measures have been instituted since the last tragedy? Because the tragedy doesn't have to only happen in Bangalore, which it did in 2020. But the point is, what measures have been instituted since tragedies in other cities? What have we learned? What is different about building the metro now? Have we instituted further safety measures? What precautions are we taking? And finally, I'll say that as far as an election issue goes, if my council, the BBMP, the corporation of Bangalore, owns the issue like the way they own potholes, even though they've been doing a shoddy job of it, I can vote them out. But they don't own BMRCL. My state elections are coming. If my state owns the BMRCL, I can vote them out. They don't either. The union government is building intra-city transport. Now think about that. The union government is not building intrastate transport, is not building international transport. It's building intra-city transport. Now, how many things will I hold my union government accountable for? Should I hold them accountable for the defense against China and Pakistan, or should I hold them accountable for a metro pillar? So when you end up subverting the basic norms of state lists and concurrent lists, union lists, when you end up subverting the basic requirements of federalism and who should own what, and you end up building a side road in a state like a smart city, or you end up building a toilet and fixing black spots like a Swachh Bharat. When the union government is doing these things, how do you hold it accountable? Tell me.
Okay, Captain Ganesh Karnik, respond to the concerns of Harish Bijur and Tara Krishnaswamy, saying the state government is getting away by killing its citizens, whether it is Morbi or whether it is what happened in Bengaluru with the metro pillar. Action isn't taken against those officials who were responsible for this tragedy, or you could even call it murder.
Hello?
Captain Karnik, do you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I just joined in between. There was a disconnection. I really don't know what were the points discussed. I've just joined,
the points which were discussed were very clear. that the politicians of Bengaluru have been hollering about things like the hijab ban, loudspeakers for azan, temple fare ban on Muslim traders, halal versus jhatka, I can go on. When a metro pillar goes down, there is no protest. There is no sense of empathy being shown by the political class towards that young mother and her toddler who were killed. It almost seems as if Karnataka politicians are living in a bubble of their own, completely disconnected with the real problems of people in their state.
Rahul, I'm sorry, you're mixing too many issues. This is a tragic accident and all of us are very seriously concerned about it. Honorable Chief Minister, without mincing words, he has immediately ordered an inquiry, suspended 2 people from the contractual firm, and even though compensation is no excuse, he has immediately dispensed a package of 20 lakh rupees to the deceased. This doesn't absolve me from the responsibilities. I do understand. But mixing up issues of other protests with this is an accident, and an unfortunate accident, a tragic accident. And my heart literally bleeds for the poor family. Should not have happened. A structure which was being erected, something went wrong. The inquiry will bring it out. It's a huge work going on. This should not have happened. People should have taken proper precautions. Now, while discussing about this, if you're talking of azan, you're talking of hijab, you're talking of many other protests, it has nothing to do with this incident.
Okay, Nagaraju, do you buy that at all, that this is a one-off incident? It's not linked to other issues of apathy, misgovernance or corruption. It's unfortunate there's massive construction work happening and one accident happened. Don't link it to a larger narrative.
No, I completely disagree with Mr. Ganesh Karnik, only because this is not only an accident, it's a purely administrative lapse and a negligence of the contractor who was taking up the job. See, the 2 lives have gone today. It's not the first time. We have seen how many people have given their life in the pothole accidents in Bangalore city. High Court of Karnataka has summoned the Commissioner of BBMP number of times and told him, do the Prime Minister or President of India should visit Bangalore to make the roads all right. What is the apathy of these conditions of these roads? We are talking beyond political lines. I may be representing Congress party, but the citizens of Bangalore are worried about their life today. They are not sure of coming back home when they want to go to the office. This is the concern what we are having. And the BJP government has got no heart, no feeling to the people who are dying on the road. They are not bothered about almost 20,000 crores have been spent for the past 5 years for repairing of the roads and creating infrastructure in the Bangalore city. What is the condition of the roads today? One small rain comes in Bangalore, you will see that entire Bangalore is flooded today. And every time they kept on blaming the previous government, and this continuous process of maintaining the infrastructure. That's the responsibility of the existing government today. Past 2.5 years, BBMP elections are not conducted. For what reason they have not conducted an election? Just to fix the boundaries and to give a reservation policy, they need 2.5 years time, is it? They have no concern.
Now, Harish Bijur, what choice do citizens have? There's a big election in Karnataka in a couple of months from now. Netas will keep talking about Savarkar, Tipu, Bhagavad Gita, anti-conversion, halal, jhatka. How do citizens ensure that the BJP and the Congress both front foot issues of governance, development, civic apathy, corruption, that those become real election issues?
Rahul, the first thing people have to do is, like a political party has a political party manifesto. Individuals in Bengaluru, people who live within Bengaluru, citizens of Bengaluru, must have an individual manifesto for themselves, which says that this is more important to me than this. Now, what this is and what this is, I don't want to go into, because I don't want to politicize the issue. I am apolitical, and to that extent, I would just say extremely important for people to prioritize what they need, for people to demand and ask of their political leaders what is priority 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and get it delivered. Now, I would like to ask one other question, which is vexing me since morning, ever since I heard this. Please tell me in which developed nation of the world work goes on a project site, on a high density road, allowing traffic going up and down on both directions. If you are performing a task which is of a construction orientation, which is of a high risk orientation, you need to close the roads. let people take the trouble of circumventing and traveling maybe 5 kilometers further. At least we would not have lost these 2 lives. A project site is a project site. Keep it like a project site. Engineering norms, engineering ethics, engineering philosophy typically dictates that a project
Do you
site
think,
must not be
Srinivas
entered by
Allavili,
the
that's
common man.
at all possible? Because the constructor would love it, the government can enforce it, but it will also ensure that the bad traffic jams of Bengaluru get a lot worse because people will have unmanageable diversions. They can turn around and say we're trying to do the best that can be done given the fact that there's a giant construction taking place.
Rahul,
sorry for this, but I'd just like to say that it's extremely important that people's lives are more important than traffic dis-ease, because, you know, we have gone through a lot of dis-ease in construction work. Let's take a little more disease, but at least these 2 lives would have been saved. We need to save further lives ahead.
Srinivas Allavili.
That our governance has failed in terms of providing infrastructure. What should have been built 15 years ago, we are building now, and we are trying to build it in a haste. And in that process, we are not taking adequate safety precautions. Like others have pointed out, this is not the first one. And we hope that this will open the eyes of everyone involved in this, because it's a road traffic accidents and deaths are India is worst in the world. In the year 2021, which is a COVID year, India has lost 1,53,000 people. Citizens of India died on our roads. And in Bengaluru alone, 229 people died, pedestrians, just crossing the street. So this is a disaster of epic proportions, both at a state, city, and a national level. And like you have been pointing out, the priority of our politicians, I don't care which color they wear, it's always about things that are not connected to the actual safety of the people of this country, but they're always trying to win elections using other
but you know, but the point is, and I want to draw Ganesh Karnik's attention to that controversial comment by the BJP state president and member of parliament Nalin Katil, who says to his cadre on the 3rd of January, focus on love jihad, not road and sewage problems. This is an on record comment made by your state president, where he is basically admitting the essence of what I'm alleging in this discussion, that you want to focus on issues like love jihad because road and sewage are tougher to account for. Get people to fight over love jihad. It's quite shameful, actually.
Rahul, can you hear me?
I hear you well.
Rahul, the issue that we are discussing now is about that particular incident which happened in Bangalore city this morning. That's a major issue. The 2 or 3 gentlemen, I don't know their name because I joined the discussion a little late. They were very, very candid in their expression of how callous we have been all these years with regard to developing the cities. This is an incident which I initially said, a tragic incident should not have happened. We should have taken all the precautions. Submission is, let's not politicize it. Let's learn from this.
No, but you're just pretending you didn't hear my question. I'm saying it's not a nobody. It's your sitting state president, member of parliament, who's telling people focus on love jihad, not road, not sewage.
Rahul, for a political reason, you are quoting him out of context. I know this happened in a party meeting. He did not say, don't worry about roads, don't worry about all these things. He said there are issues which are concerning to the average citizen with regard to demographic changes. And while saying that, he made a passing remark, roads and other things are important, but this is more important. So with that, he has said, and day in and day out.
Okay, can I just play that comment out? You know, I don't understand Kannada, but there is a VTW translation. One second, let's play it out for our viewers. We have a full translation. You can hear it on your screen right now. He is not saying what Ganesh Karnik is suggesting he says. What he says is very clear. He knows where he thinks votes come from. Ganesh Karnik, you and a viewer should listen once again to the state president of the Bharatiya Janata Party.
ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಹೇಳಿದೆ, ನೀವು ರಸ್ತೆ ಮೋರಿ ಚರಂಡಿ ಸಣ್ಣ ವಿಷಯದ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಮಾತಾಡಬೇಡಿ. ವೇದವ್ಯಾಸ ಹೋದಾಗ ಕೈ ಎತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, ನಳಿನ್ ಕುಮಾರ್ ನಕ್ಕಿಲ್ಲ, ನಳಿನ್ ಕುಮಾರ್ ನಕ್ಕು ನಿಮಗೇನು ಬಂಗಾರ ಸಿಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮಕ್ಕಳ ಬದುಕಿನ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಲವ್ ಜಿಹಾದ್ ಅಂತ ನಿಲ್ಲಿಸಬೇಕಿದ್ರೆ ಭಾರತೀಯ ಜನತಾ ಪಾರ್ಟಿ ಬೇಕು. ಲವ್ ಜಿಹಾದ್ ಅಂತ ನಿಲ್ಲಿಸಬೇಕಿದ್ರೆ ಭಾರತೀಯ ಜನತಾ ಪಾರ್ಟಿ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಹೇಳಿದೆ, ನೀವು ರಸ್ತೆ ಮೋರಿ ಚರಂಡಿ ಸಣ್ಣ ವಿಷಯದ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಮಾತಾಡಬೇಡಿ. ವೇದವ್ಯಾಸ ವೇದವ್ಯಾಸ ಹೋದಾಗ ಕೈ ಎತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, ನಳಿನ್ ಕುಮಾರ್ ನಕ್ಕಿಲ್ಲ. ನಳಿನ್ ಕುಮಾರ್ ನಕ್ಕು ನಿಮಗೇನು ಬಂಗಾರ ಸಿಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮಕ್ಕಳ ಬದುಕಿನ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಲವ್ ಜಿಹಾದ್ ಎಂದು ನಿಲ್ಲಿಸಬೇಕಿದ್ರೆ ಭಾರತೀಯ ಜನತಾ ಪಾರ್ಟಿ ಬೇಕು. ಲವ್ ಜಿಹಾದ್ ಎಂದು ನಿಲ್ಲಿಸಬೇಕಿದ್ರೆ ಭಾರತೀಯ ಜನತಾ ಪಾರ್ಟಿ.
But I can gather, and I'm going to get Harish Bijur to do a full translation for those who don't understand Kannada. He's basically saying, put issues like love jihad front and center and not issues like road and sewage. Harish Bijur, is that not the case?
Yes, I think, there are comments which are made by various people at various points of time. But, for me, what is concerning is what has happened this morning. For me to have these lives lost and to get a compensation of 20 lakhs of rupees for the lives lost is no answer. For me, it's very important that these lives should not have been lost. So what is it that we can do to avoid it? My first solution is a simple one. A project site, treat it like a project site, go through discomfort, stop traffic if necessary, but at least ensure we don't lose any more lives.
But Tara Krishna Swami, the fact that you've got netas pushing out such issues, asking their party cadre front end these issues, push issues like love jihad, sewage, push issues like sewage on the back burner, essentially then becomes reflective of the governance class. Srinivas Alavili, that's how it works, because if this is what the neta is saying, that's the message that percolates downwards.
The netas do what the netas do. The time has come for citizens to do what they need to do. They escape accountability by creating so many complex structures, and the different levels of government are responsible for different things, and there is no election for the local civic body, and the elected representatives use the time in the state legislature to do all kinds of other things, but not what is most required of them. By now, if what Harish is suggesting is to be done, how can it be done? It can be done by an act of a government order, a legislation, an amendment, any of those things. Who has time to do that? None of them have time to do that. I'm sorry to say, this accident could have happened under any government. In fact, accidents happen in every city, every state of this country, every
now that's the point.
So road
the fact that nobody who's watching at this moment has any sense of confidence that if your party were in power, things would be any different. It's not just the BJP which is to blame. When you've been in power, similar things have happened, and that's what makes the situation, the conundrum for Karnataka's voters more stark, that they don't know where to go, because if they're not happy with the current government, they don't think the party in opposition might be much better either.
No, I only... Rahul, I want to bring it and notice, this is the result of negligence, and the amount of corruption what the government is involved today is the result that 2 lives have been taken, their lives have been gone. Let us not, I told you in the beginning, let me not make politics out of it. I want to straight away say that the quality of the work is not done in Karnataka. The infrastructure is not in quality. Why? Because the people are involved who are in power today to be blamed, because the infrastructure is a continuous process. You cannot sit there 5 years and say that the previous government has not done it. That is not the way. Any government in the helm of affairs should take the responsibility of this. 2 lives have gone today is only because the negligence of the BMRCL and the contractor, and it is the 100%, 40% commission has been is seen on the work what has been done. Today, the contractors are being sitting for a strike on the streets of Bangalore in near Freedom Park. For what reason they're sitting? They are the people who are accusing this government of 40% commission. You're seeing the kind of work what there is no quality of work. There is no safety measures have been taken. The complete negligence is happening. Why are they doing that? Let me tell you one thing. If they want to resolve all these things, instead of making that place as a constructive area, first of all, let them come out with the project of public transport. Let them encourage the public transport first. They are not. They're doing nothing. Bangalore has become completely a traffic city today. It's completely choked today. Why are the government not coming out with the blueprint of encouraging the public transport? Why are they not ensuring public transport is given at affordable cost to the people of Bangalore? What is wrong with them? They talk about crores of rupees investments are coming to Bangalore. Where is the money going today? It's going to the BJP minister's pocket, is it? Today, 2 lives have gone. They are measuring with 20 lakhs rupees. Is it fair enough?
It doesn't matter what issues the netas of Karnataka want to front end. Through the next several months, India Today will keep putting on the center stage the issues that truly matter to to the voters of Bengaluru, to the voters of Karnataka, because that is what we believe is the citizens' charter. These are the kind of issues we think the election should be won and fought and lost on. And that's what we'll keep raising between now and April, May. I'm slipping into a break. When we come back, protests rage in Joshimath. Locals protest against the demolition of 2 hotels. Nearly 700 houses have been marked unsafe. Ground reports on the other side of a quick break.
News is about putting people first. Just look at the queues right across. About asking the right questions to those in power. It takes no sides.
माँ का दर्द एक दर्द कोई नहीं समझ सकता उस दर्द को.
It reveals, it heals. Angry people came out on the streets.
Is this the kind of justice system we want in this country?
News is all heart and no hatred.
बिल्किस बानो आज क्या कहना चाहेगी आप?
हमारे साथ जो हुआ है किसी के साथ भी नहीं होना चाहिए.
Experience the news. With me, Rajdeep Sardesai, only on India Today.
You're watching an India Today special broadcast being brought to you from the stunning ski resort of Klosters, Davos.
The 53rd World Economic Forum is back at the snow-clad slopes of Davos. The smartest minds gather to debate the world's biggest challenges: energy crisis, industry headwinds, geopolitical risks, social vulnerabilities. India Today and Business Today are at ground zero to bring you all the action. Catch top corporate tycoons, politicians and intellectuals as they discuss cooperation in a fragmented world. Watch the Davos brainstorm only on India Today and Business Today TV.
Tonight at 9 p.m. on the news today with me, Rajdeep Sardesai. From Tamil Nadu to Delhi, almost every opposition-ruled state government finds the governor in direct conflict with the elected government. Who's responsible for this and what are the implications for constitutional democracy? That's going to be a big talking point. Also on the show, a metro collapse of a pillar in Bengaluru has raised fresh questions over the state of the city's infrastructure. And it's not just Joshimath, but across the Himalayan region, several towns are facing the sinking feeling. All that and much more on the news today.
It's 2023, and India remains the sole shining star in the global economy. So what lies ahead as the Modi government prepares its last full budget before the 2024 general elections? Join the biggest names in business journalism, decoding the jargon with the biggest newsmakers. From the most credible, in-depth analysis of Budget 2023, turn into Modinomics 2023 through the month. Only on India Today and Business Today Television, gold standard of business journalism.
You're on board the Newstrack. There's fear and fury in Joshimath. Locals are protesting against the demolition of 2 hotels. Nearly 700 houses have been marked unsafe. 81 families have been evacuated, but the Himalayan crisis is just unfolding. Amit Bhardwaj and Ashutosh Mishra with this ground report.
These are the helpless faces of Joshimath. People who've lived here for decades now could be left without roofs over their heads. A sinking gateway to the pilgrimage routes in Uttarakhand. With the ever-present landslide threat, buildings are now being marked out for demolition. These 2 hotels, precariously leaning on each other, are being demolished.
दिसंबर में 27 तारीख को एक नोटिस आता है, आप यात्री नहीं रोक सकते हैं, नहीं रोकना चाहिए। परमिशन विड्रॉ कर ली गई। अभी किस तरह के कंपनसेशन की उम्मीद कर रहे हैं? हम तो ये बोलते हैं भाई जो बद्रीनाथ के तर्ज में जो हमारी मार्केट रेट है उसका चौगुना करके हमको निपटा दिया जाए, क्योंकि हमारी जिंदगी का सवाल है, हमारे रोजगार का सवाल है।
According to authorities, over 678 structures have been marked unsafe, and they all could very soon be brought down to avert a bigger crisis.
मकान खतरे की जद में उनका चिन्हीकरण किया जा रहा है। पहले 603 थे, अब 678 उनकी संख्या हुई है। आगे भी चिन्हीकरण की प्रक्रिया चल रही है। हमारी एसडीआरएफ की वहाँ पे 8 टीमें पहुंच चुकी हैं, 100 के करीब आदमी पहुंच गए हैं। एनडीआरएफ की भी टीम आई है, एक जिसमें 30 आदमी हैं। उसके अलावा जो है सिविल पुलिस में भी हमने स्ट्रेंथन किया है।
क्या कुछ बचा है इसमें? आपको लग रहा है कि The center is said to be keeping an eye on the situation. Union Minister Ajay Bhatt took stock on the ground.
अभी मैंने ब्रीफिंग ली है, सारी घटनाओं के बारे में जानकारी ली है, और एनडीआरएफ, एसडीआरएफ, हमारा यहाँ का लोकल एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन, पुलिस, डीएम, हमारे सीनियर आईएएस सारे कैंप कर रहे हैं, एक चीज पर निगाह रख रहे हैं। बस मेरा एक ही निवेदन रहेगा कि पेन की नहीं फैलानी चाहिए, हिम्मत से काम लेना है।
Meanwhile, locals staged a protest against the National Thermal Power Corporation Limited. They are in tears, alleging that they're paying the price for corruption today.
कितने साल बिताए आपने यहाँ?
मैंने यहाँ पे, मैं तो यहीं पे जॉब भी करती थी आंगनबाड़ी में, लेकिन इसी बार मुझे जाना पड़ा है। मेरा तो आधा जीवन यहीं बीत गया। 40 साल 45 साल होने वाले हैं मुझे यहाँ पे।
बचपन की क्या क्या यादें आपको याद आती हैं इस घर की?
बचपन हमने यहीं खेला, यहीं कूदा।
There's a limit to which mountains can be burdened. The story of Joshimath is testament to that even the great Himalayas cannot bear human destruction to this giant extent.
This house, from their hard-earned money, they have their agricultural field here. They have been living here for years, for generations. Now they all have to vacate this place. There you see these cracks? This is something that people could not ignore, and they have been complaining, and this has been happening for last 3 months. Today what we are seeing is literally alarming for Joshimath, because if it is happening in Joshimath, it could even happen in any part of the mountain area.
With Ashutosh Mishra and Amit Bhardwaj in Joshimath, Uttarakhand, Bureau Report, India Today.
The Stalin government versus governor showdown is escalating. Hashtag Get Out Ravi has been trending on social media, and posters against the governor were plastered across the state. But the governor isn't backing down. Here's how the political war is playing out.
Tamil Nadu Governor R.N. Ravi and Chief Minister M.K. Stalin are at war. After the governor walked out of the state assembly while the chief minister was speaking, a campaign against him is spread across Tamil Nadu. First, the hashtag #GetOutRavi started trending on social media. And now posters have come up across Chennai with the same message. Late night protests erupted in Sulur, where DMK workers blocked roads and burnt posters of the governor. The DMK is evidently turning up the heat after the governor edited out references to Dravidian heroes and achievements of the state government from the speech handed over to him. Stalin's son and State Minister Udayanidhi Stalin has hit out at the governor for walking out during his father's speech.
இன்று காலையிலே நடந்த ஒரு நிகழ்வு நீங்கள் எல்லாம் கேள்விப்பட்டிருப்பீர்கள். தமிழ்நாடு சட்டசபையிலேயே வரலாற்றே இல்லாத மாதிரி நம்முடைய தலைவர் ஒரு சம்பவம் செஞ்சிருக்கிறாரு. பொதுவாக தலைவர் அவர்கள் தன்னுடைய பதிலில் கொண்டு வருகின்ற அறிவிப்புகள் எதிர்க்கட்சிகளை தான் ஓட விடுவார். இன்று நம்முடைய ஆளுநரையே ஓட விட்டார் நம்முடைய தலைவர் அவர்கள்.
Speaking to India today, Udayanidhi evaded questions on the assembly face-off. However,
you also said that the chief minister made the governor itself run away. Any comment on that particular one, sir?
I don't want to comment about it now.
the BJP has come to the governor's defense, accusing the DMK of being intolerant.
The tolerance is the essence in democracy. When they are not tolerant to our own governor, then what kind of the democratic value that they can give to the society?
For now, the governor is holding his ground. His Pongal invitation to VIPs this year mentions Tamil Nadu as Tamilagam, a name he proposed a few days ago, sparking outrage among the Dravidian parties, including both ruling DMK and opposition AIADMK. DMK ally, the CPM, pointed out that last year's invitation from the governor came with the state symbol, while this year it bears the union government symbol.
Tamil Nadu is the one place, let us say Tamilagam is more appropriate.
With the Raj Bhavan taking on the DMK government in a state that takes immense pride in its regional identity, political parties in the state are wondering if Governor Ravi is taking his cue from the Narendra Modi government. With Pramod Madhav in Chennai, Bureau Report, India Today.
Pakistan's descent into chaos continues. With its economy in free fall, the country now faces an acute shortage of wheat. Stampede riots were witnessed in several parts of Karnataka as atta prices have skyrocketed. Politicians are locked in an unending blame game.
Food shortage, stampedes, gunfire. Pakistan, a country of 23 crore people, is now paying for its crimes. For far too long, Islamabad has overlooked governance and instead focused all its energies on the use of terror as a strategic weapon. Today, firing their AK-47 rifles, the army and police are protecting the priceless wheat flour. That's right, they're actually standing guard for atta against hungry crowds, risking their lives just to lay their hands on that one invaluable bag of food. Pakistan is facing its worst ever food crisis, with parts of the country reporting a massive shortage of wheat and wheat flour. Stampedes have been reported in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, Sindh and Balochistan provinces.
मुल्क का कर्जा कैसे उतरेगा? तो किसी नौजवान ने कहा कि ब्यूटी पार्लर बंद करके उतरेगा, किसी ने कहा कबाब रोल खाने बंद कर दें तो उतर जाएगा, किसी लड़की ने कहा कि हम कमेटियां डाल लेते हैं सब मुल्कों से लेकर,
सब अपनी अपनी गड़ियां बेचते भाई,
उससे उतर सकता है.
The country is drowning in debt, making even imports a tough task.
ये बताओ मुल्क का कर्जा कैसे उतरेगा?
मुल्क का कर्जा जब पैसे होंगे जब उतरेगा, आपको नहीं पता.
तेल का बोतल आते हो ऐसे यूं पत्थर रख के ऐसे यूं बैठे होते हैं ये इधर डिफेंस में. अगर लड़के सारे उधर बैठ जाए ये काम कारोबार स्टार्ट कर दे तो मुल्क जो है तरक्की हो जाएगा.
मतलब हर नौजवान मालशी बन जाए.
मालिश में जितना पैसा है ना उधर किधर नहीं है.
Amidst this crisis, the political leadership is busy pointing fingers at one another.
इमरान नियाजी की बदकिस्मती कि 4 साल पूरी सपोर्ट के बगैर वो एक बदतरीन नाकाम वजीर आज़म निकला, और जो लोग जिन्होंने उसको मसनद इक़्तिदार पर बिठाया आज किस तरह के कभी उनके ऊपर इल्ज़ाम तराशी कर रहा है.
इस वक्त जिधर हम खड़े हैं उसमें एक आदमी जिसके पास बड़ी ताकत थी, जनरल बाजवा, उसका बहुत बड़ा हाथ है, बल्कि उसी का हाथ है जो आज हम यहां खड़े हैं.
At a time when citizens are starving, Maryam Nawaz, the daughter of former Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif, is making headlines for her shoes and clothes worth lakhs of rupees. The country is facing challenges on multiple fronts, like plummeting forex reserves, high inflation which has reached a staggering 42%, conflict with the Taliban in Afghanistan, the Baloch insurgency escalating, a huge historic food shortage, and a crippling power crisis. Add to it huge damage from last year's historic floods. Pakistan is battling to meet the very basic needs of its citizens. The countdown clock has begun to total collapse. Bureau Report, India Today.
Okay, so the new Pathaan trailer came out today. There's been a lot of controversy about the color of Deepika Padukone's bikini. We finally got a sense of what the film could be like. Here are all the reactions.
The much-awaited trailer of the most anticipated film Pathaan is out for the fans to cherish.
Outfit X, एक private terror group, जो किसी मकसद के लिए नहीं, बस कॉन्ट्रैक्ट पर काम करते हैं.
Ma'am, we have a red flag.
They are planning a massive attack, और उनका टारगेट है इंडिया.
एक ऐसा अटैक जो हिंदुस्तान ने कभी सोचा भी नहीं होगा. ये नेगोशिएशन नहीं, अल्टीमेटम है. And your time starts now.
तो अब पठान के बनवास का टाइम खत्म हुआ.
What an experience! The CT Mar dialogues.
पार्टी पठान के घर पे रखोगे. तुम्हें मारनाबाजी के लिए पठान तो आया.
The adrenaline-pumping action sequences.
और पटाखे भी लाएगा.
Not just between Shah Rukh Khan and his nemesis in the film, John Abraham, but also Deepika Padukone steals the scene with her on-point action game.
Pathaan, the hunter, hunted.
All in all, the trailer of this Siddharth Anand directorial is breathtaking and a fantastic treat for all SRKians.
अपनी भारत माँ को मेरा आखिरी सलाम कहना. एक सोल्जर ये नहीं पूछता.
And not to miss the leading man, Shah Rukh Khan. He is back and with a bang.